Hey, all you Virgos, this is Zahara Stars with Illum Astrology giving you your March 2018 Astro Weather Forecast. All right, well, it's going to be an interesting month, that's for sure. I know we've been leading up to retrograde mania, and we're just getting started this month with the first planet to turn retrograde, which will be Jupiter. On the 8th of March in Scorpio. And this is your third house of communication, local area, neighborhood, immediate environment, cars and transportation, siblings and neighbors. So Jupiter going retrograde here is going to bring people back that you need to have conversations with, that maybe you new conversations or conversations coming back to be, handled differently, perhaps, where you can make changes and you can address situations and stuff like that. You might be reviewing your technology. You might be thinking about getting a new car. This is all Mercury rules technology, although Mercury won't go retrograde till the 22nd later in the month. But starting with Jupiter retrograde in your third house, there's a lot of third house communication, Mercury, kind of revisiting. So you can have some technological errors or issues if you're not careful. So just definitely review everything, double check it. You guys are good about doing that anyway. So I'm not really worried about Virgos making a mistake ruling the house of perfection. But when the planets are wacky, it can kind of pull us off par. But yeah, so it's a blue moon month, which means we're having two full moons in the same month again. And the first one on the 1st is in your sign. So something came to illumination. You uncovered, discovered, felt something. Your intuition told you something during this full moon in Virgo, because the moon is about illuminating areas that have to do with you and yourself and your physical body being in your first house. So how you want to present yourself. You might have discovered I want to make these changes or want to try something new about my looks. And I don't know, it could be a multitude of different things, but there was definitely an illumination that's happening there. And then the new moon that's going to occur on the 17th is going to be in Pisces, and that's going to accent your 7th house of partnerships and relationships and marriage, okay, committed relationships and people that you have contracts with, but also close friends and associates in Pisces. So that's going to kickstart some new energy there where you're going to be very active. And those of you looking to find a partner, this new moon is going to kickstart the relationship area of your house. Now, if those of you that are in a relationship that's no good for you, or that you're not happy with, or that isn't giving you what you need, or there's more problems than it's worth, the new moon can definitely kind of eclipse, although it's not an eclipse, but it's an ending and a beginning. It's the ending of the last cycle of the moon cycle, and then a new moon. So you could decide to end your relationship. I mean, it happens. But if the relationship is good, and you got to look at the synastry for that, and you also got to know what your relationship is. But otherwise, it's going to open up new relationship opportunities and bring in new partners, new potentials. It's going to open you up to networking, building relationships, associates. This is close friends too. Some of you might end a contract. Maybe your contract is up, and then you're going to start a new contract. And with Mercury retrograde, there's a lot of focus on that. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of activity happening for you. It's already been pretty active. I'm sure a lot of you have been socializing, communicating, doing paperwork, traveling or driving around a lot, maybe driving more with Jupiter in your third house. But this retrograde is going to make you want to think about more efficient ways to do things in that house with technology. Like if your computer's been breaking down and your phone's been freezing or stuff like that, you can better the situation. You can get better parts, or you can upgrade, or you can trade or whatever, because it's all about efficiency, and you Virgos are all about that. It's not about working hard, it's about working efficient and smart, and making things work in your favor. So there's going to be a lot going on. Action, communication, And then relationships, so it's gonna, you're gonna develop new relationships. This is really good for business too, for those that are involved with, that work for themselves or work from home or work in the computer or work with technology or want to get a presence out there. Just Jupiter retrograde and Mercury retrograde are going to be very, very helpful. There's a lot of good positive aspects happening all month too. There's a couple of days that I do want to just warn you about for those of you that are in relationships. There's some touchy days where you can just vent or let loose or break up or do something crazy. Hey, retrogrades do that anyway. We tend to review, overthink, think things through and stuff. But if you're happy in your relationship, you might not want to act out on these particular days, okay? One is on the 13th when Venus in Aries will square Saturn in Capricorn, and Saturn shows us everybody's faults in 3D, and it just becomes unbearable and we get irritated and we don't want to do the niceties anymore. Saturn is just about cutting us off from our diplomacy and our tact that Venus provides, so we can be abrasive, but it's also a cutting energy where you can cut people out of your life. You just see their faults, you can see, and if you're involved in a relationship, well, you might be picking on your partner a little more than you normally would, and then you might change your mind after Venus and Saturn stop the square and regret it. So just don't make any serious decisions on that day as far as love and relationships are. Don't plan anything that involves you having diplomacy and tact. Okay, an interview, I guess, talking to a friend or whatever. Just be cautious. You can actually control it if you're aware of it. Okay, so just remember, on the 13th, you want to be aware of how you're coming across. Okay, if they're real issues, then hey, that's what these transits are for, to help us promote change and to get rid of people that aren't good for us and to end situations that are bad. So just you decide. Okay. The other day is on the 23rd when Venus in Aries is going to square Pluto in Capricorn. And this is a very compulsive, all or nothing type of energy, and you can get really fed up. So things can really tick you off, and you really just don't want to tolerate anything. It's like my way or no way on this day. So, if you don't want to cause too much drama or have drama, just be aware of that, especially because Venus is going to be in your 7th house of relationships while this is occurring. You can have it out with some friends if you're not careful, and or with your partner. By transit of Venus square Pluto can be a breakup transit. So just be aware of that. On those 2 days, those are really the 2 days that I have kind of just be aware, okay? But for the most part, it's going to be really, really active. There's a lot going on for you guys, a lot of communication. You're going to be busy, very, very busy. There's some really good, on the 6th, Mercury and Venus are both going to move into Aries, and that's going to be your 8th house of other people's money and resources and banks and institutions and loans and credit cards. The big money, okay? So Venus transiting there, it means you're going to be in for some extra income, okay? You can get credit card increases. Be careful with that. You can get approved for loans. People that owed you money can end up paying you this money that you're waiting on coming to you from the government or any other source like that, some kind of court or anything like that. You can get it. It's likely to come through now. There will be some sort of extra boost. Okay. Also on the love end, you're going to be wanting passion. So just be careful about stirring up drama that's unnecessary, but you can come across some really intense love experiences or, sexual experiences with a partner. It usually, and benefits coming from a partner. So if you're married, your husband or your boyfriend can get a raise as well, or they can just start treating you more. You just get treated by others. Others give you things. So it's going to be really awesome. And so that's going to start on the 6th, okay? So for the rest of the month, you got some hot stuff happening for you guys. A lot of hot stuff, okay? It's going to be hot romantic, relationship-wise, a lot of communicating, getting around. Maybe through all this moving around, communicating, talking and stuff is going to be because your 7th house is activated, then your 8th house also of sharing and intimacy, partnerships, and other people's money. So, yeah, the month is going to be, it can be very sensual. Very sensual. If you're looking for a lover, you definitely have a strong opportunity of finding somebody. If you're in a relationship, just be careful about those 2 days that I told you. I'll say them again. Just to remind you, the 13th and the 23rd. Just be careful about those 2 days if you're in a relationship, okay? But otherwise, relationships will be expanding, a lot of activity, a lot of communication, feeling really good going on. And then the new moon at the end of the month that's in Libra is going to be in your second house. The full moon is going to be in your second house of money. So it's a money activated month for sure. Okay. But it's going to kind of kick in next month too. But this month and for the first week of April, it's going to be really active for you financially, love-wise, sexually, passionately. Yeah. I see you guys active and having fun. All right, so I guess I'm going to wrap it up right now. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to be able to get all the latest of what I'm uploading, to get notification, because I'm going to be doing quite a bit. I'm got a lot in for me, a lot of stuff coming, so definitely check on that. And also you can visit my site if you didn't find me there at www.illumastrology.blogspot.com to read about astrology all the time, all the aspects and stuff like that. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you in April.